everybody, C4 here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're continuing our Madden 20 realistic rebuild series by moving on to a team that historically has been cursed on the channel, and hopefully we can break out of that curse here in a realistic rebuild format, and that is the Detroit Lions. We got 10 years with Matt Patricia with the whole pencil right there. That's, you know what, full credit to Madden. Feels like that's a little thing that Madden just would generically just put his face in. They threw a pencil in. That's kind of cool. Again, when it comes to the realistic rebuilds, there's that middle ground of like, do we use current rosters, and that'll kind of take away a little bit of the mystique and anticipation of the Madden 21 rebuilds, or do we make the the occasional move? Because like right now, you look at the Detroit Lions, Snacks Harrison got released, Darius Slay got traded, and that's really it. Mike Daniels no longer there. It's more so veteran moves. But what I'm gonna do just for this Detroit Lions rebuild, because obviously it was a big trade, we are gonna move Darius Slay. And anything else like that, we'll just make our own roster decisions, have our own approach to free agency. But they traded big play Slay to my Philadelphia Eagles for a third and a future 5th round pick. I'm assuming this will go through, which it does, because Darius Slay is, I think, in my opinion, top. Last year was a down year, but I think if you take over the last 2 years, take a 2-year scope, I think he's a top 5 corner. I think he's much closer to 5 than 1, but still a top 5 corner nonetheless. But now we've got that contract off the books. Let's take a look at our roster, what we're dealing with, what we're working with, and everything in between. So at the quarterback spot, we do have Matt Stafford, high-paid quarterback. There's not much behind him in terms of development. So obviously, with a 10-year rebuild, he is not going to be here for all 10 years. So I think sooner than later, anytime a value quarterback, because Madden, sometimes in the sim, when you get into the draft, quarterbacks that are supposed to go in the first round will still be there in round 3. If that happens, maybe we'll grab on one of them and see if we can bring him in here and be the understudy. At running back, we have Kerryon Johnson, who's 82 star, should be franchise running back material. You have Bo Scarborough, who came on late last season for the Detroit Lions as more of a power back option. I love that to be the 1-2 punch. I mean, we got some youth here. Sure, Ty Johnson from Maryland is a scheme fit, but I think we can go Kerryon, Scarborough, and Johnson. Like, our running backs are set. Wide receiver, we have Kenny Golladay, who I think is super underrated. I think top 10 wide receiver in the National Football League. He's going to be a beast for us. He's a superstar dev, and his abilities, what do we got? Red zone threat. That's pretty good. I think he's going to be one of those candidates for an X Factor. I think sooner than later, because he is that dang good. We might have to hop in and try to get him that. Marvin Jones, Amendola, Jermaine Kearse, kind of veteran options. It is what it is. Marvin Jones Jr. is solid for the time being, but I think long term, I don't think Fulham's really going to develop, at least in a Madden sense. We're probably going to need to find 2 wide receivers long-term to pair with Kenny Golladay, which we'll do that. We have Hawkinson at tight end, 78 hidden dev. I don't know if he's superstar. I feel like early in Madden he was superstar. There's a chance he get regressed down to a star. Either way, one of the better young tight ends. And we actually signed him a couple of rebuilds ago, and he was like a 92 superstar. So we know he develops very nicely, and I'm happy with that. Offensive line, we have Taylor Decker, solid 74 star dev at left tackle. Should develop, should continue to grow. Not much at guard. Ragnow at center is also fairly damn solid, 83 star. Graham Glasgow, I think they lost him in free agency. I might not be able to re-sign him. I don't know yet, but he's, again, above average offensive lineman. And then we have Rick Wagner, who they in real life cut. I think he's now a member of the Green Bay Packers. But we don't, Crosby, I don't think Crosby's ready yet to make that big jump. How much XP does it cost? Oh, Jesus. I'll actually make this move. This is a move they made in real life, and I kind of agree with it. We'll get rid of Rick Wagner, and we'll go with Crosby. Costs 4,000 XP for him to level up versus 22,000 for Rick Wagner. So if we give Crosby this season, there's a chance he rolls into year 2, 72, 73 type tackle at 24. And sometimes you draft guys that are 24 and like a 69, stuff like that. So he's going to kind of get a jump. There's a chance he could develop into a right tackle. I did like him coming out of Oregon, so we'll see what happens there. On the defense, so at left defensive end, we'll go to Sean Hand for sure. 78 overall with a star dev. He's only 23. There's some veteran experience behind there. Mike Daniels, that is an ugly contract. Hopefully we can get out of that sooner than later. Right defensive end, Trey Flowers. I paid him premier money to come over from the New England Patriots. I don't think he really lived up to the expectations of his big contract last season. But again, they knew what they're paying. You're not paying for a guy that's... You're getting a Brandon Graham type. A guy that gets a lot of pressures, doesn't always get a whole lot of sacks. Acquire is actually a nice rotational piece as well. Well, we got 2 guys that actually are in the roster. I'm going to try and see what happens here. Snacks Harrison, obviously long, short-term option. He's 30. And then you got A'Shawn Robinson, 24.75 with a star dev. Now, I definitely want to try to hold on to A'Shawn Robinson. The question becomes, if things move, if Snacks say regresses really, really bad, or if he's actually in a contract year, I don't know if he is or not. Maybe we move Deshaun Hand to D tackle. He's almost 300 pounds, and then we have Okudah. We flex him out to defensive end and see if we can grow and develop him. You know, there are some pieces here. I like the fact that we have some able bodies on this defensive line that we can get creative if need be. But I'm definitely, unlike the Lions, gonna try and re-sign A'Shawn Robinson. I think he's gonna be valuable for us long term. They got Kennard, who actually I don't think's on the roster in real life anymore. He's, you know, replaceable for sure. Inside, Tavai and Jared Davis. And outside, you got Christian Jones. Again, it's just, you know, they're 3-4, right? Like, in real life, I know it's Patricia and Bill Belichick. They run multiple fronts, but is their base 3-4? Gotta be. Yeah, it is. Okay. Well, if that's the case, our middle linebackers should be able to grow and develop in Tavai, who is normal dev, and Jared Davis, who I think is normal dev as well. I'm going to try and have these guys catch on, but we definitely need 2 outside guys that can grow and develop. In the secondary, no more Darius Slay. We have Justin Coleman, who's a solid nickel. Melvin's, yeah, he's just a veteran. Amani Aruwariye out of Penn State. I actually think I had a second-round grade on him. They got him 5th round? 5th round? I'm actually going to have him start. And you got Mike Ford he can develop. It's a good young secondary outside of Melvin. You know what? We'll get rid of Melvin's not actually on the team anymore either. Oh, he does have a startup. I don't care. He's gone. We'll go Coleman, Aruwariye, and Mike Ford as our corners. At safety, we have Tracy Walker. Should be good. Should be a long-term option. Only normal dev, but safeties do tend to get dev trait scenarios higher than any other position. And then at strong safety, we got Tavon Wilson, who's 29. Will Harris, the rookie, who's a 69. I might actually just straight up go younger and give Will Harris the opportunity to start this season. You got Prater and Sam Martin on special teams. And that is your Detroit Lions, a team that is a good mix of young and old. With no more Darius Slay, we got rid of that and get rid of some of the other guys who actually aren't on the roster. But I think long term, it's going to be interesting. I have no idea how it's going to work out, and I kind of like that. You know, it's not like the Houston Texans where, yeah, they lost DeAndre Hopkins, but we know how overpowered Deshaun Watson is, and we probably will win a Super Bowl. I have no idea if this Detroit Lions team, we're going to be able to build it up to a Super Bowl. We had, I think, 3 straight rebuilds where we've won a Super Bowl, so it'd be just fitting, given how our history with Detroit on the channel, for them to end that winning streak, and we just find a way to lose and not win. But let's go into this with some optimism, get into year 1, and start to reestablish the Detroit Lions here. So we have a fairly early bye week here. We're 1-3, which is not great, but hey, we're playing ourselves, hopefully in a position to draft Jeff Okudah or Chase Young, one of the 2 players that they could in real life, because obviously Detroit finished as the 3rd worst team in the National Football League. We have a breakout scenario here. We already had one for Will Harris, which is pretty funny, because I just called it, and it is safeties. If you have a normal dev safety and they're young, they're going to get a dev trade, or at least dev trade opportunity. We got one here for Kerryon Johnson to go up to a superstar dev, which actually would be pretty damn helpful. Looking at contracts here, obviously we're starting to deal a little bit in reality, as these are guys that actually are up with contracts. Like I said, I kind of want A'Shawn Robinson to stay here, so we'll give him a 4-year deal. Just around $3 million. He wants a little bit more money. That's kind of reasonable. Graham Glasgow wants a 2-year deal. That's actually not brutal, given the fact that that's at the end of the 2 years, that's when we could start drafting the Madden generated line, which are a lot easier to pull. So I actually do think I'll come back to the negotiation table for obviously both Graham Glasgow and A'Shawn Robinson and the rest of these guys. I mean, maybe Mike Ford will get another one. He's getting in Bo Scarborough. But for the most part, in terms of big money players, yeah, we're letting, you know, Daniels, Amendola, all those guys go. So at the end of year 1, not great. I think it's a better record than they had in real life. It might have been pretty close. Yeah. 5-11. Looking at the stats here. Matt Stafford actually played pretty well. 4,000 yards, 32 touchdowns, and 16 picks. That's acceptable. We got 1,100 yards, 12 for Kerryon Johnson. Acceptable. Kenny Galladay went for 80 catches, almost 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns, almost 1,009 from the rookie T.J. Hawkinson. Hell to the yeah. Defensively, 127 tackles to Vi. Will Harris had 107 and 2 picks. The other rookie, Aruwariye, 106, 3, and it's awesome. 10.5 sacks, Devon Kennard, 9 from Trey Flowers. So we're getting pressure for a 3-4. And I didn't even do like the storm defense or anything crazy like that. So statistically, everyone was acceptable. I don't know how. Everything else turned out. MVP is Jacoby Brissett. In the AFC, Mitchell Trubisky is your offensive player of the year. Defensive Player of the Year went to Khalil Mack. Offensive Rookie of the Year went to Kyler Murray. TJ Hawkinson coming in at 6. Defensive Rookie of the Year went to Tavai. Hey, if you can get a dev trait, that'd be beautiful. Harris at 3. Aruari at 4. For the rest of the individual awards, I don't expect to see any Detroit Lions. First year's an absolute wash. Where did we finish? Where's our pick? 1, 2. Hey, we're picking at 2. 5-11, and it's the second worst. I mean, thank God the Raiders are going to tie. We should be able to get in a position to get, like I said, a Chase Young or a Jeff Okudah. So that's all right. Get our first free agent period. Got to do a little bit more spending potentially than the Lions actually did. Look at Zach Pascal to come in. Superstar dev, 25. We're going to come with a pretty big bid to get him to replace Danny Amendola as our slot wide receiver. So that means we'd have 2 guys already on lock. I'm seeing some dev trade upgrades already, which looks pretty crazy. Thought about maybe bringing in like a Judon or something like that at outside linebacker, but the contracts we have for our current outside linebackers aren't the best. Because it was Judon and what was it? Someone else that I was thinking about potentially bringing in. Let's just see here. Tim Williams. 27. You know what? Maybe we'll throw a little flyer. See if we can lowball him. Maybe a 3-year deal. Maybe get around under 5. Something like that. If no one else bids, hey, it's an upgrade. If not, it's a position that we have to address during the draft. So we landed none of our targets. And then to kick off the draft, Chase Young's off the board, which makes it that much easier. We're going to go with how I think they're going to draft in real life. And at pick 1, we are going to get Darius Slay's immediate replacement in Jeff Okudah out of Ohio State. 78 hidden dev, number 3 in true talent in the draft. Awesome. So taking a look at our first draft here for the Detroit Lions. After the Jeff Okudah selection, we rounded that up. We got Zach Bond in the second round, 70 normal dev. Didn't get out with a dev trait there, but he is a scheme fit and could be a long-term player for us, as well as getting Acquire, the brother of Romeo. We got Julian, great value, 69 overall. Now, not a scheme fit, but again, another guy I think could be a candidate as a rookie to get a lot of playing time on this field, like our DBs last year, and Aruari and Will Harris. Third round, we got Quintez Cephas, slot wide receiver. We needed that slot to replace Danny Amendola. He's such a physical player. Speed's not great, but he's powerful. What do we got here? 78. Like the trucking stuff's almost in the 80s. I think he's another candidate that could start. We got Joe Bocci in the 4th, Tego Anogo in the 5th, John Simpson in the 6th, and then we just got the OP punter, Braden Mann. We needed one. We've already drafted him before. We know he's a beast. 76 hidden dev. He's pretty much an all-world punter. Every award you can win for a punter, he's got it like multiple times. But we got a lot of guys. I think 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 legit starters, I think, from this haul, which is awesome, as we need a big turnaround. We cannot be the second worst team next year, or else we're most likely going to get fired. Year up for year 2, man. We actually had a lot of dev traits last season. That was awesome. Offensive line remains the exact same. No new starters. Maybe we could put Simpson here at left guard, actually go with the youth. Dahl takes about 10,000 XP to go up a dev trait, or do up a spot. It's half, a third of that for Simpson. Makes sense. We'll go with the young guy. But Hawkinson went from superstar to a superstar X Factor, got protective custody. He achieved that last year. We got Kenny Galladay, who went from superstar up to wrecking ball, which he got at the end of the season last year. We have on the defensive side, Tavai went from a normal dev up to a star dev. And Harris, the rookie, went from normal to a star dev based upon his production last season. So when you look at the defense, 2 new edge rushers. We got Zach Bond and Acquire coming off the edge. Okudah is going to line up as our primary starter, actually at corner, because Coleman is a slot guy. So it's going to be Okudah and Aruari on the outside, Coleman inside. It's I think there's no way. I'm gonna be shocked if we are, Well, I mean, 5-11. What were we? 5-11 last year. That's not that brutal of a record. It just, again, the landscape of the league, it was really, really bad. I think we can push for 500, if not 9-7. Maybe sneak in the wild card. Oh, really early buy, and we have yet to win. It's not good. Job security does not feel pretty decent. We have a dev trade scenario here for Kerryon Johnson. Just juicing him up to get a superstar dev. That's the second time that's popped up. He's failed it every single time. And given how well we've started, it's not looking good. Contract, first up, we got Kenny Galladay. Wants a 4-year deal. Absolutely. Whatever you want. We'll pay you over Marvin Jones. Outside of that, I definitely think we can give Taylor Decker a contract, especially if he's only looking for 2 years. That's very reasonable. Yeah, that's what it's looking like right now. Decker and Golladay gets themselves a new deal. And at the end of year 2, we're 2-13-1. The worst team in the National Football League. My settings. Coach firing is on. I mean, unless it's going to happen once we sim the next little bit. How do we still have a job? We got fired for way less back in the Jags rebuild with Doug Marrone. What does Matt Patricia have? What is it? Is he threatening the owner, that lady, that's Marsha Ford, whatever the hell her name is? She's like 904 years old with a pencil. How does he still have a job? We didn't have much in terms of dev traits that were hidden. We did have Okudah, who came as a superstar dev, which is not surprising to have anyone. That's about it. Statistically speaking, Matt Stafford did not play good at all. There's no other way around it. Now we have a number 1 pick with Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields in the draft. I did not think the Detroit Lions would be the time that I'm going to burn it on a quarterback. I might not, but I most likely will. Because he's not playing well. Kerryon Johnson, acceptable year, over 1,000 yards. No dominant receiver. Cephas chipped in a little bit from the slot. That's about it. Defensively, Tavai, big year, 118 tackles, 11 TFLs. We get 8 sacks, Trey Flowers, 7 from the rookie Zach Bond. Aquara, only 3 sacks. He got a lot of playing time as well. Okudah, 2 interceptions, 3 picks for Aruarie. Yearly awards, Mahomes is your MVP. In the NFC, Matt Ryan, offensive player of the defensive player of the Killer Mac, Jordan Love, and Zach Bond. Look at that, 3. Beautiful. But Zach Bond is your defensive rookie of the year. I could definitely use a dev trade boost for that man. Individual awards, not a lot there for the Detroit Lions. Let's get into the draft. Pretty much going to sit this free agency out. Not a lot there that we're looking for in terms of an upgrade. So, just sit down for me on this one. Because the first year, Matt Stafford played like a top 10 quarterback. Year 2, he was awful. For the sake of me having no plan whatsoever to use a quarterback, burn one of the quarterback rebuilds of Lawrence and Fields here, and the fact that he did show something in the first year with Mr. Stafford, I'm actually going to defer a quarterback this year, and I'm gonna draft Jamar Chase. The next Randy Moss kind of thing. Like, his play style is Randy Moss. He might not be 6'4", but when you watch him play, the way he dominates guys in college with Joe Burrow at LSU last year, it's Randy Moss. So we get the number 3 player here in Jamar Chase, and we actually low-key need a wide receiver. We only have Golladay on the roster, no more Marvin Jones. Mr. Matt Stafford. If Matt Stafford does not go for 35 touchdowns next season, this is going to be one of the dumbest things I've ever done, and I wouldn't, put this way, if Stafford doesn't pay out dividends next year, dislike this video. The draft that will forever be known as C4 literally gambling on a cursed Madden rebuild quarterback in Matt Stafford. We got Jamar Chase. We followed that up with, in the second round, Monty Rice, linebacker from Georgia. 70 hidden dev, going to come in and be an immediate starter next to Tavai in the center of this defense. Third round, we got Ben Petrula, guard from Boston College, won a bunch of awards there. He's actually a scheme fit 72. It's a real nice pick. He actually might contend for starting left guard. We did get a quarterback in JT Daniels from USC, even though I think he's probably going to transfer away from USC because Slovis kind of emerged as a starter there. We got Bethley, Morig, kind of whiffed on Tonga here, and we get Evan McPherson, the kicker from the Gators, to get a young special teams unit. But, this needs to work out with Stafford. We need to kind of view that first year with Stafford. We're getting him an elite weapon to go with an already X factor. I think there's a chance Jamar Chase is an X factor. We're going to see, man. We are going to see, because Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence were on the board. We went wide receiver. We gambled on Stafford. Never thought I'd say that in my life. Let's see what happens. Just make it interesting, So as we start year 3 here, going to be on the shortest lease I've ever seen for a head coach, because 2 years, worst and second worst team. I am shocked we're not fired. It has to be, if we probably lose midway point, if we're not going to be above 500, I would not be shocked to see us fired. But we gambled with Matt Stafford, who's an 80 overall star. We brought in Jamar Chase to pair with Golladay and Cephas at wide receiver. We got Hawkinson, offensive line. Petrula will start at left guard. It's a pretty solid offensive line. Not great, but there's upside there. Most of those guys are young. On the defense, Okudah, Aruarie with Coleman in the slot. Monty Rice will start alongside Tavai, middle linebacker, taking over for Jared Davis. It's a solid team, man. Again, it's another thing where there's no way this team's that bad to be the worst and second worst team in back-to-back years. We're an 83 overall, but Let's see what Matt Stafford could do with two, what I'm sure is superstar X Factor caliber wide receivers. Year 3 for the Detroit Lions, and coming out of our bye, we're 4-1. We've been able to turn it on its head. Hey, surprise, having a big-time player like Jamar Chase. Is his dev trade unveiled yet? Maybe not. It's probably pretty close. It's other superstar. There's no way it's not at least a superstar. Okay, we still got to play a little bit more to unveil it. But 4-1. Hell to the yeah. It's, of course, first year that we're good. The Bears and Packers are also very good. Look at our contracts here. What do we got? We got Kerryon Johnson. Off there, he wants a 4-year deal. Absolutely, I'll sign you to that. Snacks Harrison, 1-year deal. It's not too bad if he'll take a 1 year. He doesn't want it. Deshaun Hand, a little bit more so in our long-term plans, 3-year deal. That's about fair. Tracy Walker, maybe give him a 3-year deal as well at free safety. Nice, got him locked up. Crosby is developing as a tackle. Well, he's 28. Let's maybe keep him until he's 29. 4-year, $21 million. He takes that. And looking at the rest, these guys just depth guys, so we can kind of get out unscathed without a massive contract. And, yes, I mean, Snacks Harrison wants to go elsewhere. Fine by me. At the end of year 3, we still have our job, even though we did make the playoffs. We're 8-8, only a game back in the NFC North. So that's kind of good. Jamar Chase came out as a superstar X Factor, so now we got 3 on the offense in the skill position spots for Stafford between Jamar Chase, Kenny Golladay, and T.J. Hawkinson. Defensively, I don't think we had any hidden devs. Oh, we did in Monty Rice, and he was a star. Looking at how well we performed this year, obviously 8-8, 1 game back. Matt Stafford, first in yards, second in touchdowns, 5,200 passing yards, 39 touchdowns, 13 picks. Thank you for at least making it, long-term, not the great play without going to quarterback. But at least this year you paid immediate dividends. We got 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns for Kerryon Johnson. We got 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns for Golladay, 11 and 12. Or we'll say that's a little bit of a jump. 1,012 for Jamar Chase, 903 for Hawkinson, 910 for Cephas. So I mean, I did change the playbook up, Eddie. But then again, if you kind of follow the first year for Detroit where Stafford was fine, we almost had 2,000 yard receivers in Golladay and Hawkinson. So sure. Defensively, Tavai, 124 tackles. We got 12.5 sacks, Trey Flowers, 11 from Zach Bond, who's actually played very well. 5 for Hand, 5 for Snacks. Really, the only disappointing player from a sack standpoint has been Aquara, because he is a starting player. Interceptions are acceptable, I guess. We're the #1 offense in the National Football League. Number 28 defense, even though on paper I would argue our defense is good. Matt Stafford, there you go. Right there. Right there. Was a fringe MVP candidate year 1. Was awful year 2. One of the worst quarterbacks in the league. And he's bipolar yet again as he wins the MVP. First in yards, second in touchdowns. With more touchdowns than him. I mean, that's actually like, that is a pretty good MVP season. But for Madden standard, that's not automatic. And they got Jordan Love here for the goddamn Saints. Had 41 touchdowns. Bowman, rookie, 39. Some insane numbers going around the league. But I like Matt Stafford. Obviously, you bring in X factors like Jamar Chase and all those guys. It's gonna help out. When you look at the roster, we have 3 X factors. He should be just air raiding it all over guys. Monty Rice, defensive rookie of the year. I like seeing that. That's about it. But hey, we were worried. We were worried and shocked. I mean, obviously, we didn't make the playoffs. It doesn't matter. But we just won the MVP with Matt Stafford. So, how about them apples? The names here in free agency. Again, man, I am not seeing anything that is really... I mean, our team's good. Our team's been playing bad. But in terms of our roster, there's not a lot of weakness. We have right tackle, right, in Crosby. But both the options, Bulaga and at the top here, Mitchell Schwartz, just too old. We don't care about a fullback. DJ Reader, yeah, he's 6 points better, but we already have money invested in Ashawn Robinson. It's another period. There's no one remotely enticing for a team that's kind of close up against the salary cap. Like, we could splurge on a Jair Alexander here, but this point in time, I like Oruwariye to continue to develop. Okudahs are outside. That's just a lot of money for 3 really good corners. I like 2 on my roster. Hell yeah. Just out of nowhere, got the #1 player in the draft at pick 18, Jake Williamson from Alabama. Gonna have to flex out to a defensive end, most likely in our scheme. 79, hidden dev, scheme fit. What a player. So our draft did kind of peak after getting the #1 player at pick 18, but it's still a super solid draft. Look at the name. So we got Stover, Velverio Stover from Indiana, 70 overall. We got Stallings at 72 strong safety. Cohen, 71 tackle. We got a 73 tackle. Again, you know, it's just the Madden. Look at that. You can tell the one common trait for all these players might be their strength. I don't know. I don't want to point that out. But adding great depth, guys, that we can just flex all out over the offensive line. Solid, cheap depth that could develop into starters. But obviously, Jake Williamson, all eyes are on him to see how he emerges as the #1 player with that hidden dev. Can he finally be someone better than a star? Because that's all we seem to get when we get, you know, top 3 players from a Madden draft class. Okay, so year 4. Again, I have no idea. Can't tell you where our job security is. Because, you know, shocked we weren't fired for the first couple seasons. So we know we had the X Factors in Galladay, Chase, and Hawkinson on the offensive line. You know, it's solid. What we're actually going to do is take Reinhardt here, who's the 74 guard. We're going to make him a right guard. He should be an upgrade there over John Simpson. 1-point upgrade, which it is. So that's pretty nice. Offensive line is solid. Stafford's up a dev trait. I mean, it's late in his career. He's, what, 34? But he's playing his best football. So now he's up to a superstar dev. On the defense, we're actually going to go with Williamson as an undersized D tackle here to compare and complement Trey Flowers and Deshaun Hand. Okudah is, you know, obviously superstar X Factor. Big time playmaker. I think he didn't get that last year, though, did he? He actually did. Sick. So, you know, an upgrade at this point if you're comparing him to Darius Slay. Linebacking core looks solid. Zach Bond's gone up a dev trait as well. I have switched to a 3-4 storm defense to see if we can get a little bit more pressure, and it complements our undersized nose tackle a little bit better. So, yeah, we were a game out of making the playoffs last year. We had the MVP in Matt Stafford. What can we do in year 4? Roughly a mid-season bye here for the Lions, who are 3-1-1. Of course, again, another year that we're not awful. Everyone in the NFC North seems to be pretty good. And our one tie, obviously, was actually against the Green Bay Packers there. So, okay. We desperately need to make the playoffs. We're getting pretty damn close to that. Let's get Ragno here until he's 30. We'll try to keep him. We'll come back to the table. Tavai, same deal. We'll give him till he's 29. Get that locked up. Decker for 3 years. That's a little expensive. If we'll take that, I'll get it. We got Matt Stafford wants a 1-year deal. He just won the MVP. We don't have anyone else that could even possibly think about taking his spot, so we'll get that. We'll get Will Harris on an affordable deal. Oruwariye, I definitely want to try to bring him back. Justin Coleman's the only interesting one. Again, it's only a 1-year deal. We don't have a lot of depth at corner right now. So these short-term contracts hopefully won't come to bite us in the ass. We need to remember that when it comes to the draft, that we only have guys like Justin Coleman for 1 year, so corner comes a little bit more of a priority when we're using our premium draft selections. At the end of year 4, it is hideous. A hideous record, but there's always 1 or 2 teams that in a Madden sim make it with this record. 8-7-1. We won the division. That tie against Green Bay. I mean, I'm interested to see how Stafford played. He got 2 weekly offensive players of the week, but I feel like a lot of our wins were low scoring. Looking at our offense, did we have any hidden devs? I don't think so on the offensive side of the ball. Reinhardt has definitely established himself as a right guard, and we'll call our offense here a little Reinhardt main, huh? Overwatch humor. It's a dope game. The defense, and of course, Williamson, who is the #1 player in the draft, comes out with a star dev, which is kind of brutal, but he's already up to an 85, so that's a really nice player. And I guess from we have a trade target. We could probably flip Robinson for something. There's gonna be some of the ones, but we get a divisional title. I can't believe it. 8-7-1, and like just again the bipolarness of Matt Stafford. Year 1. Where are we? Way down here. Year 1, 4,000 yards, 32 touchdowns. Good season. Year 2, 3,700, 19 touchdowns. 1 more touchdown than picks. Awful year. Year 3, 5,200 yards, 39 touchdowns. Still a lot of picks, but he won the MVP. Again, it's just what's with the play calling, man? Like oh yeah, everything's consistent kind of with how he's played, and then just the 2 years he's below his usual completion percentage. This year's not brutal. Let's be honest. It's not a brutal year, but coming off an MVP season, I was definitely expecting. I wasn't expecting it to be 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns less, but the interceptions were cut down, so there's something in our record was, about the same. It's just weird. I can't make sense of it. Can you guys? I can't. 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns. Carry on Johnson. Cephas led the team. Galladay. Everyone had a pretty bad year, man. What's going on here? Was it our defense? Not really. 7.5 sacks. Zach Bond led the team. 20 TFLs from the rookie Williamson. Interceptions were fine. What is it? So we had the number 25 offense. Defensively, got to be like top 15? 13th? Just a team that's just not good. Boring, but yet we made the playoffs. That's all that matters. I don't think we're going to have any award winners. Nope, nothing. But yet, we won the division, and we're in the playoffs here against the Dallas Cowboys in year 4. It's weird. It's weird. Here we go. Cowgirls and Lions. Feels like it's a Thanksgiving Day game, but it's here in the opening round of the playoffs. And I'm thinking, the more I just keep compounding it, we won the MVP with Matt Stafford, and going back to like Jamar Chase over a quarterback, I feel like because the last year we did with the Bengals, Joe Burrow didn't do diddly squat until year 10. Maybe just for the next rebuild or so, I'm off getting these young, high-name, big-profile quarterbacks because it didn't work with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was Andy Dalton, and maybe that's why I saw the production that Matt Stafford put up year 1, and that's what made me gamble. Because obviously now he's 34. I don't know how many more years we're going to get out of him. But, hey, can we get a playoff win? Does Matt Stafford even have a playoff win to his record? Hopefully he gets one here as we hold on. 3-point lead. You know it was going to be that 8-7-1 team. Stafford, beautiful performance. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns on the day as Detroit is moving on to the NFC divisional round. And in the divisional round, it is the Carolina Panthers. They're 11-5. Well, this game's not going well. Carolina got 21 points in the first quarter, and we have not done much on offense. Come in maybe on 4th down. I don't know if this is going to be Matt Stafford's final postseason pass. I hope not. We still got one more year left in this part 1. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can take a bomb with Stafford. Stafford still has a can of an arm. One of the strongest arms in the NFL. He'll have that till the day he hands in his retirement. We got Jamar Chase, Kenny Galladay, Cephas. I'd say Cephas somehow will be the guy that gets open with his 87 speed. Or Galladay wins right off the line of scrimmage. There we go. Too easy. Cut the lead in half, but it's obviously way too little, too late. 52 yards. Shows how easy if I was actually coming in and controlling this. How designed this offense is to win. But we get smoked here. They got Alan Bowman, the young rookie quarterback, entering his 2nd year out of Texas Tech. Yeah, that's a rough one. Still 5 touchdowns, no picks. Matt Stafford through this playoff run. Optimism that he can do it again and get us back here next year in year 5. I mean, you look at our team again. It's a problem with the team like this, where like clearly we probably could use something. Maybe a quarterback. Stafford has regressed 3 points, but there's nothing. There's nothing. We could use a tackle, but then you look at left tackle. We just brought Taylor Decker's still on a big contract. There's no one there that's really. Actually, this guy looks pretty damn sick. Jamison Montgomery, 78. What's our right tackle? Ugh. I think I want this guy. All right, we're going to try to sign this guy. But other than that, nothing else in free agency even remotely interests me. Oh, this could have been so good. So looking at our draft recap, I should have talked through the draft when I made the picks. I'll explain it to you here. Look at the draft. We traded away, but generally really strong draft. 70, 67, 69, 71 quarterback in the 2nd round. We got a defensive end that we're actually going to, we thought he was going to be at least some sort of dev that we could switch to be left outside linebacker to compete because Okudah not really giving us the production we're looking for. But here, I saw this QB. He was 4th round, but mid-1st round talent. And I was like, all right, that's going to be our quarterback. There was also a 1st round QB who was mid-1st round talent. But obviously I thought, let's go with the value. So we got Zachary Gray from Notre Dame. Obviously doesn't look like an awful QB prospect. But I was like, I had to see. What was the other quarterback? His name was Kirkman or Kirkland or something. I was like, all right, I don't know when he went. He probably went late 1st. 2nd round. 2nd round first. Troy Kirkland, also a 71. I was like, okay. Straight across the board. Hidden dev. Okay. We had a chance to just, well, you know, there's few and far between do we butcher a draft, and, well, we're well beyond Jamar Chase versus Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields. We could certainly view Zachary Gray over Kirkland as maybe my biggest draft mishap in the history of realistic rebuilds here in Madden 20. Can't believe that. Can't believe that shit. Year 5, try to capitalize on a divisional title and a playoff win from year 4, getting some job security, even though I feel like Matt Patricia is never going to get fired, given our first 2 seasons. Here's how the squad is looking up. We have former MVP. We can now say about that every time we talk about Matt Stafford. Under center, Gallett, 94 X Factor. We got 90 X Factor, 93 X Factor. Offensive line is coming together. The fact that Petrulia, Ragnow, Reinhardt, and Crosby are all like 27, 26 or below. Still offensive line that's only going to get better. Defensively, it's pretty beastly. Williamson went up dev trait somehow his rookie season. Don't know how he got that. Didn't get offensive rookie of the year. His stats weren't amazing. Had a bunch of TFLs. I had 20 TFLs, so that helps. That's about it, man. It's a solid defense with a really good front 3, and obviously Jeff Okudah established himself as one of the more dominant corners in the game. So, again, I don't know how many more years of Stafford we're going to get, but every year that we have Stafford under center, it's another year that's just, you know, making us second-guess some of our drafting decisions. But it's year 5. If we can win a Super Bowl with Matt Stafford, it eliminates all doubt. So we're at about mid-season, coming off a very sexy 35-0 defeat. We're 4-5, which is last in the division, but we're only 2 games back. I think making the playoffs last year helped out with our job security just a little bit. Matt Stafford had 5 touchdowns in week 2. Got player of the week. That's all I really know with the season. Looking at contracts, we had TJ Hawkinson, one of the best tight ends in the National Football League. There's no way we're letting him walk. Trey Flowers should hold on to that rating. He's been consistently solid. Zach Bond. No one. Oh, there we go. Finally, someone respects the kind of offer I'm throwing out here. We got one of the better punters in the league. In Braden Mann, we'll get him locked up. Of course, he wants more money. I'm getting bent over by the fucking punter. Will you take money? Yes, you will take money. What about Cephas? Will you take money? What about a 4-year deal? Be our long-term slot option. You're complimenting other guys well. So, Trey Flowers and Hawkinson will come back with them. For right now, Stafford, we're going to wait and see. Damn, man, we won the last 3 games of the regular season. We still got our job. We finished at 8-8, last in the North. It's a competitive North. 8-8 is not good enough for a team that's 88 over. Hey, it's like you added a hyphen in my overall. That's the record, which should never happen. Yeah. Matt Stafford, I don't know if he's coming back, honestly. We didn't extend it. Let's see how well he did. I kind of was in the back of my head, like, if he can find a way to squeak us into the playoffs, maybe we'll keep riding him. We'll ignore the rating and trust the stats. Look at him statistically this year. Not great, and like a career worst completion percentage. Kerryon Johnson was good. He's been consistent. No dominant receivers, but when you have inconsistent quarterback play. But again, we got X factors. Something needs to give. We got 3 X factors. I couldn't tell you that these guys were not normal devs for how they're playing. Like, these guys need to elevate the quarterback. It can't just be the quarterback that feeds wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that Madden tends to fall into. If you have Superstar X Factor Jamar Chase, who's 93 overall. Superstar X Factor Kenny Golladay, who's a 95 overall. Superstar X Factor TJ Hawkins, who's 94 overall. And everyone across the offensive line, average offensive lineman rating right now in our lines team is like an 81. I don't care who I have under center. They should be better than that, let alone when they're an MVP superstar QB. So, I don't know, man. Got a lot of tackles there. Interceptions have been inconsistent. Williamson has been a monster since he's come in, 92 overall. I will say the bad news, Trey Flowers told me to go pound sand. He wanted to test out free agency. I'm going to let him. Whatever, man. I don't need these kind of guys. And your play until this season, because you're in a contract year, has been good, but not, $100 million good, which is what you want for your last big contract. So, yeah. Yearly awards. Zeke's your MVP. No. This is going to go down as like the worst pick we've ever had in franchise. Not getting Kirkland, who won the Offensive Rookie of the Year, Superstar X Factor, and we're sitting here going, what the fuck's going on at quarterback, No individual award winners. We might as well look at the career stats of Stafford in case he's done. He finished with 59,000 passing yards, 376 touchdowns, 190 interceptions for records for a career. He is 2, 4, 6, 7, 8th all-time in yards. And for touchdowns, 10th. So, I mean, top 10 quarterback all-time statistically, but obviously his postseason success has been abysmal. As that's how we're going to end this. I mean, I don't know. We're going to bring back Stafford. Do I keep bringing the Stafford back? Do we hope maybe that there's someone in free agency? Sometimes you see like a Lamar Jackson caliber quarterback sneaking a free agency. Maybe we're going to move like that. I just can't believe like how much better we would be in if we just said screw it and got the first round QB and had Kirkland. We'd have an X factor. We'd have a new era. We'd be feeling great as we go into year 6. Now we sit here with more questions than answers. As once again, I mean, obviously making the playoffs last year probably bought Matt Patricia a little bit of job security. And I mean, if we weren't fired the first years, which I've never seen, I thought 100, like there must have been like a 1 in 10% chance there or something. Don't think about math. No one's in school right now because of that CV. But a minimal chance that we were going to keep our job, stay employed after those first 2 seasons where we were the second and first worst team in the NFL. He's still here. So we got a second episode for the Detroit Lions. I'll be coming to you guys in a couple days. So hopefully we figure out what's going on at quarterback. But thank you for watching. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.
Money I'm spending, I'm out and I'm shopping. You talking that shit, well you talking the talking. Look at my options, look at me dropping. Ass in the game, like who are you stopping? Not me, not me, not never. Not me, not me, not never. Not me, not me, not never. I'm way too clever. Look at the kid, Mr. Consistent, I'm doing it big. Way too persistent on taking your bitch. Here comes a monster to scare all you kids.